everyone, this is Roxx, here to discuss the sequel to a movie called The Joker, starring Joaquin Phoenix. The sequel is called Joker 2, Folie, deux. I don't speak French, so I don't know if I said that properly. Now, Joker 1 was basically character analysis of a person who's mentally ill. So rather than being of the comic book medium, it's more or less a detailed analysis of a person who's mentally ill, dealing with things in the back of his head that he can't tell that are either real or not. But it's a pretty fantastic movie. I've seen it a few times. Really liked it. It did not require a sequel because it kind of came in as a nice little package and you watch it and then it's done. But they had to make a sequel, of course, because that's where the money was. And strangely enough, when I heard that they were going to do a sequel, I was pretty happy about the whole thing because I really liked the first one. I really liked the first one. I was expecting them to just ramp it up a little bit. Maybe he'd have a bad guy that he fights, or a good guy, or a small posse of other little criminals in the politics, and him dealing with his mental illness and things like that. That's one thing that I want to cover first, because nobody else is going to talk about this when they're going to discuss Folie deux Joker 2, except for the fact that it sucks, but I'll get to that in a minute. What they should have done is raised the roof. The original Joker movie takes place on planet Earth. There's no characters like Mr. Freeze. There's nothing cheesy like, I don't know, Clayface, or they could have had the Riddler in the new one. That would have been great, but they just used Riddler with the Batman, so they couldn't do that. And I guess they can't use Penguin either, but there are characters that still exist that they could make work. And when I say make it work, I think it would have been fantastic. First off, I would want to bring in, nobody's going to agree with me when I first say it, but after I'm done saying it, you will agree with me. Brainiac. Yes. Brainiac, the android, intergalactic, what would you call him again? He is Brainiac is an interstellar masterpiece on what happens when technology gets too big. Because Brainiac exists everywhere at some point in time, at all times. He can plug himself into any computer or any Wi-Fi or any type of technology, and he can just live there. The closest they had to Brainiac being human, I believe, was in the Titans, where he's takes place in 8,000 years plus, and he's a teenager and he fights with the Titans. But generally speaking, though, Brainiac is devastatingly unstoppable. How can you stop a thing that can live anywhere at all times? Now, let me tell you what I'm saying when I say this. Arthur Fleck, as the Joker, is mentally ill, and then for some reason, he starts being contacted in his head by an entity not called Brainiac. That sounds a little too corny, plus it's too on the dot. We don't want this villain or this piece of mind that Arthur Fleck has created to be called Brainiac. It just could be called the Brain, or I'm your best friend, Arthur. So he would have, it could be true, or it could just be his mental illness, and that would be pretty fascinating, to make Brainiac a mental illness that doesn't actually exist. Or does he? And that's why I think that's great. A lot of people that don't read comics do not know about Brainiac. Brainiac's fascinating. So in the DCEU, or the new, I guess, DCU, they really need to just fucking stop using Sepultura. They should have gone straight to Doomsday, or straight to Darkseid, or straight to Brainiac, because those are villains that Superman can fight, but also he can't fight them because they're all extremely dangerous. But the thing here is, though, is that if we had Brainiac, it could be just this weird tick in his brain. So during the whole thing, Brainiac would just be talking with him, and Brainiac could do that. So that would be pretty fascinating. What he'd ask him to do or ask him not to do, I don't know. But I just think that would be cool. Next, let's have like a 55-year-old Deathstroke. A 55-year-old Deathstroke would be amazing because he is a human. He does walk the earth. He does have weapons and guns and knives and armor, and that would make a lot of sense because I bet you that Deathstroke would scare the crap out of Arthur Fleck / Joker. That would be amazing, and I'd love to watch that because that would just be cool. and then make plans together, have, of course, built in some plot device that they want to accomplish. Don't bring in, even Cyborg can actually fit in, just don't make him that jacked up, you know? That would work, but no Hawkman or Hawkgirl, no Superman or Supergirl or Power Girl. Nothing like that. No. We need to keep things grounded. That would be great. Like Victor Zsasz. Victor Zsasz is great, because Deathstroke versus Victor Zsasz would be pretty damn cool too. And also, they all do take place on planet Earth at the same time. You know, like, we don't want Clayface, okay, because that's just too out of this world. And Croc's too juiced up with like laboratory things, whatever. No, like, we need to make this new Joker 3, which I'm talking about. This Joker 3 needs to take place on Earth, where we can actually place him there and be like, okay, this feels good completely. So let's discuss what's wrong with Joker 2. What was that guy's name? Todd Phillips and Lady Gaga. If we could have eradicated both of them and locked them in a basement, we would have had a really good Joker 2. But instead, we got a musical with half-assed songs, no real tunes, no full songs. I don't even know if they've put out an album for it, because this is the thing. If you release a musical, so it's a film, I don't care if it's a horror musical, drama musical, action musical, which is weird, you should put out the album. But no, I don't think they did, because the songs are all half-assed and cut short, and it's just bullshit. And honestly, the only reason that it has freaking Lady Gaga is because I'm sure she said, I need to be able to sing and dance, and I want a musical. And she got paid $12 million for a film that got $40 million in its first week. And that's weak. See what I'm saying? That week is so weak. I cannot believe that they did this nonsense. I can't believe that they managed to take a lovable, loved, tragic movie, very much about mental illness, and they ripped its guts out, ripped off all the flesh, left a rotting corpse, and now we're stuck with some shitty musical with Lady Gaga because she has to sing. You already sing. Get the fuck out the movie. I like to dance. Shut the fuck up. We don't need your dancing. Lady Gaga. Lady Garbage. I can't believe it. Wow, what a disappointment that is. The worst part is that Joker 2 makes the Marvels, starring Brie Larson, seem like, I don't know, Iron Man 1, Indiana Jones. That's how bad Joker 2 Folie, that's how bad that film is. It makes me want to yell, because they kept nothing of the actual source, nothing of the plot, ripped it out, and then made them all dance like garbage and sing like garbage. All because Lady Gaga, I'm sure, was like, I need to be able to sing and dance. Then go to a strip club. You got that, Lady Gaga? Go to a strip club. It's not my fault that you're 40 years old and you're trying to reinvent yourself as an actress. It's nice to see that your first trip as an actress, and probably, I'm sure, behind the scenes, you're being like, I need to sing like this here. I need to sing and then dance like this here. Great job! You completely fucked up the entire movie. Now I really don't like her. I do like Poker Face, Poker Face, Poker Face, Poker Face. That's about it. So now we know that Lady Gaga, her acting career is finished. She was paid $12 million, which is 1/4 of what the entire film made in its first week. Great job, Lady Gaga. Now, as for Joaquin Phoenix, he's a professional actor. The guy's an old pro. He has been doing this since his late teens. He got a giant paycheck. I think it was like $20 to $22 million. Probably had some free time. They're gonna give him a lot of bank, so he, cashed in on all of that bank. So he got his cash, and that's good, and I'm glad he did. It just sucks now that we can never have another Joker movie. The only good thing about not getting another Joker movie is that the first one will always be seen as a one-off. Number 2 will just be seen as garbage, which was dictated by Lady Gaga. Stupid name. She wears freaking meat dresses and thinks she's making a fashion statement. I don't care if she's a Satanist. I just don't like the fact that she just wouldn't play a regular role in a regular movie like Joker. No, it had to have the dancing and the singing. Yeah, that. Well, Hollywood has learned just now, right now, what goes on when they start playing their stupid antics. Just like with Brie Larson and the Marvels, which is absolute just garbage. It was pathetic. It was terrible to watch. Couldn't believe it at all. But anyway, bad films do occur. If I'm wrong, then leave a message and say I'm wrong. And if I'm right, leave a message and say I'm right. Because how is it a coincidence that Lady Gaga gets put in a position where she sings and dances, but she doesn't act very much at all? And like the court scene, which I've heard is good. No, I watched that. That was an embarrassment. I watched the film. That was an embarrassment. I spent most of the time playing on my laptop eating yogurt because it just never picked up the pace. It had no pathos and gravitas. And if you don't have pathos and gravitas, then what are you supposed to do? Because nothing's happening. It just runs at a standstill. It's like running at a brick wall over and over because there is nothing actually happening at all. Let alone they try to do this thing where Lady Gaga holds a finger to her head like a gun and goes like, psh. Yeah, don't you remember in Joker 1? Let's just call it Joker. There is the woman that he liked and she did that too. And I'm like, how derivative are you being here? You're just being derivative. Did this film actually even start with a script? Because after watching it, and I couldn't see what was actually happening. It didn't have action at all. Supposedly Todd Phillips or whatever hates action. But that's alright because he can go find a place to remake Showgirls or something like that. But I really hate the fact that what they did was that they took a beloved movie and made a sequel that was subpar. Now, generally speaking, every sequel is always subpar. Not all the time. When you look at Terminator 1, directed by George Cameron, that movie was amazing. Terminator 2, directed by James Cameron, that was amazing. But then let's go to Avatar, the first one. Absolutely amazing. Avatar 2, Way of the Water, Worst of the Water, Waste of the Water. That movie is absolutely shit. It's garbage. It has no plot. It has high school humor. We got a bunch of these like blue people on boats with spears attacking a naval base, which is so advanced that they can project themselves through to like different parts of the galaxy. For them to rip apart some blue aliens on boats that can't even swim. Oh, and also, just so you know, if you haven't, in Avatar 2, one group of blue people can't swim. That's not what Aboriginals would do. They can all swim because they have to go to the lake to just drink or wash something, get water, cook anything. It makes no freaking sense. But somehow, a naval platoon superior, vastly superior than our current technology, gets with a few hand grenades and then having like 3 giant whales with rhinoceros tusks land onto the boat. No, sorry. Well, it is. The blue... What were they called? The, Navy. Okay, with some kayaks and some spears and some stolen grenades and a couple rhinoceros whales, they managed to wipe out a U.S. naval platoon 500 years from now. Do you recognize how advanced technology would be? They would not be going on beaches and fighting with them. They just launch all of their helicopters or helicopters or planes or what, I don't know, whatever. They would have so much technology that would eradicate these blue Navi in no time at all. They wouldn't even touch down and try to fight hand to hand, because that's not the point. All they would want to do is erase them off the planet, and then it would be theirs. But just like in Avatar 2, it was garbage. Or Avatar 1, an amazing film. Avatar 2, absolute garbage. And it ends with them going caca, 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 because they were so happy that they managed to sink a Navy U.S. SEALs base in the year 3000. Can you imagine the kind of technology that they could have? It would be insane. Anyway, though, that's what happens when bad sequels come out to good movies. Or Terminator 1 and 2, that was pretty awesome. Or Joker 1 and Folie, Adieu. Just hearing that name made me want to throw up. And I knew it was going to suck the second I was like, it's going to be a musical. With Lady Gaga. Wow, great. That's like me starring in a TV show and I'm like, I gotta cut lumber with a chainsaw the whole movie, because in my real life I just cut lumber with chainsaws, because I actually do. So we'd make my part the base of the whole movie, me cutting down wood with chainsaws. Exactly, and painting. Why is that like? Well, if Lady Gaga gets to make her movie where she gets to sing and dance, which she's comfortable with, and just act a little bit, why can't I star in a movie where I cut down lumber and I paint? Sometimes inside, but sometimes outside. Ah, boy, Joaquin Phoenix must be rolling over in his money, because he clearly cleaned up. I love the fact that he cleaned up and he got as much money as he can out of a bullshit movie, and they can't recoup a penny from him. Like, that's it. Let's hope that they can put that into libraries. Maybe might pay $20 to show it, or maybe, who knows, the making of, which would also suck. Anyway, think of my idea if we had Joker in Joker 3, and he hangs out with Deathstroke doing crime, but in the back of his head something's speaking to him, and it's Brainiac, but he doesn't know it's Brainiac, and maybe it's not. Maybe he's making up the whole thing. I've always been wildly creative, and I know what I like, and I would love Joker to go back to him being a bad guy, and also have some bad guy friends, but keep it grounded, like no Clayface, things like that. That's just a little bit too nuts if you ask me, but keep it grounded, which would be amazing. Who knows? Maybe get him to like bulk up and get big. Who knows? And fight, because if you read the comics, Joker can fight. He's listed as being an admiral fighter. So what can you do wrong there? That would be awesome. Sadly, most likely now, because they screwed up 2 so bad that we're not going to get a Joker 3. Just glad it's called Joker 2, because number 2 is a big pile of poop, burning poop. So, anyway, hear what I'm saying about my version of Joker 3 and talk about it, because it could happen. It totally would make money, and that could happen. And just so you know, I heard a rumor with the new Batman film. It's not going to be Robert Pattinson at all. They're going to age him up like 10, 15 years. So he extra age, that extra edge. But it's possible, though, that Pattinson could bulk up, do a little makeup on him, some extra little wrinkles on his face, and that would be amazing, because who didn't love The Batman? That is one of my favorite Batman films. I'm not going to list them in order, but I think Robert Pattinson did a great job. I thought the whole cast did a great job. Penguin, Colin Farrell was great, and his TV show called Penguin, that was fantastic as well. I loved that also. So we have a lot of hope here, guys. We got a lot of hope here on the movie and TV front, so that's amazing. Thanks for checking out, listening to me. Put around my views, like I said, how let's have like Brainiac is like a mental problem, and Deathstroke is his actual friend. That would be nuts. Alright, thanks. This is Rexx Rocks. Rexx Rocks out. Please like, comment, and subscribe.